Good morning. You're watching the morning news here at CNN News 18. My name is Toya Singh. Our next story is one we've been tracking over the last few days. Inside details that we're sharing with you on Sanjay Raut, the Shiv Sena MP's questioning and arrest. Remember, he was arrested late last night after the Enforcement Directorate questioned him for more than 9 hours. What we're learning is that there are no health complaints. Sanjay Raut was treated by the ED during questioning. Apparently, there were no complaints in terms of how he was treated. There is currently big questions being asked on about 11.5 lakhs of unaccounted cash and documents. The ED also sees some other items. You might remember yesterday, early in the morning, the ED landed up at Sanjay Raut's house. They then raided the house and after that questioned him. This entire process lasted, as we've just told you, more than 9 hours. They landed in the morning. He was only arrested late at night. Remember, this is all in the Patra case of Mumbai, in which, according to the ED, there was money that was deliberately mismanaged in a redevelopment of part of Mumbai, Patra, as we've just said. Apartments were supposed to be redeveloped for hundreds of people. These are all developments that we're getting in right now. This is a case, remember, that's been going on for a few years now. This is by no means a new case. However, recently, first Sanjay Raut's associate Parveen Raut was arrested and taken into custody. Now we have this news for you. Sanjay Raut late last night arrested. Of course, Raut himself says that this is a mismanagement of the Enforcement Directorate. He's saying that this is, not a mismanagement, but he's saying that the ED is misusing their powers. As we've already told you, this is a rejoinder that you've heard from the Shiv Sena, but also from a number of other opposition allies of theirs. For example, the Congress and the NCP. But remember, this is all coming at a very, very tough time for the Shiv Sena also. You might remember that just a few weeks ago, the Shiv Sena saw a vertical split take place in the party. On one side, you had Eknath Shinde's led rebel faction, and on the other side, the few people that are left that support Uddhav Thackeray, who was just still about a month ago the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. He obviously had to step down, but this entire series of actions by the ED against Sanjay Raut is also being looked at by opposition members in the context of the earlier split. Many are saying you're hitting the Shiv Sena when it's already down. Others are saying that this is an ED investigation. It shouldn't be looked at in that political light. My colleague, our Mumbai Bureau Chief Vinaya Deshpande, is with us live this morning from the Mumbai Sessions Court to bring us more updates on this entire development. Vinaya, I believe you're going to be able to bring us an overview of how yesterday's interrogation went right before he was arrested. Could you bring us that summary, please, since we're starting the day with you?
Well, absolutely. After the ED was at Sanjay Raut's residence and, it went through the documents at his residence for over 6 hours, the team took him to ED office. We are being told that he was questioned for over 6 to 7 hours before he was served the arrest memo, in which the arrest time has been shown as 12:05 a.m. He was quizzed on several issues. In fact, sources tell us that, the ED treated Sanjay Raut quite well, who has not complained of anything so far. So health-wise also, Sanjay Raut has been good. We know that, his bag consisting of his personal belongings was sent to the ED office late night yesterday. ED continued to question him for several hours. He was questioned about the documents, about his association with the Patra. Now remember, what is important is also the seizures that took place, and with respect to seizures, the sources have told us that apart from the 11.5 lakh rupees of unaccounted cash that was seized from Sanjay Raut's house, and apart from the documents that were seized, certain other items were also seized, the details of which have not yet been divulged by the ED. Now, with respect to the 11.5 lakh rupees of unaccounted cash, sources tell us that of the 11.5 lakh, 10 lakh rupees were kept in an envelope which was marked for Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde. Sources say that this was to be given to Eknath Shinde for some accounts of the Ayodhya visit that was organized for Aditya Thackeray, the Shiv Sena leader, just some time ago. So that is what sources tell us with respect to the unaccounted cash. So there is no details that are there about the remaining 1.5 lakh of unaccounted cash that has been seized, but the 10 lakh unaccounted cash allegedly was kept in an envelope for the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Eknath Shinde. Eknath Shinde, meanwhile, has denied that any knowledge of that and has said that he is not aware of any such cash transaction that was to take place between him and Sanjay Raut. Meanwhile, Sanjay Raut has been defiant as ever. He has been well in the custody, is what sources close to the whole affair tell us. They also say that Sanjay Raut was treated well in the ED custody. Questions were put forth to him. He was also asked to keep aside the phone in a room that was separate from where he was questioned. So as of now, we are being told that Sanjay Raut might be taken for medicals quite soon, sometime today. Since the arrest has been shown for 12:05 today, the ED still has 24 hours for his medicals and for producing him in the court today. So it is anybody's guess as to whether he will be taken for medicals and for court appearance in the morning, or whether that will happen by noon or by evening. But the ED clearly has a lot of time on its hands. 24 hours, so till midnight it has the time for medicals as well as for taking him to the court. Meanwhile, with respect to seizure, sources say that there was nothing new that was asked or seized with respect to the questions as well that were asked. Most of the documents that were seen by the ED were documents that were already talked about. In fact, sources say that some of the documents the ED saw and took photocopies of those documents with them. They were relating to certain properties of Sanjay Raut. Meanwhile, the ED has claimed that Sanjay Raut has not really cooperated with the probe, and that the seizures have already taken place, and the questioning was with respect to Patra case. Now, Patra case is a redevelopment project from Mumbai. It's the redevelopment of a chawl. ED claimed that this is a scam worth over 1,000 crore rupees, in which it is alleged that there was money laundering, and that there was a role of Sanjay Raut in this. Sujit Patkar, who is a close associate and distant family member of Sanjay Raut, is alleged to have led to certain cash transactions, due to which there were transactions between Sujit Patkar and Sanjay Raut's wife, and the 83 lakh rupees of unaccounted cash or money laundered cash, the ED claims was used to buy a flat at Dadar. So the ED has already made seizures in this matter way back in April. We have seen that properties were also attached, certain land parcels were also attached. The probe continues.
Vinaya, thank you so much for providing us with that summary. For our audiences, that's my colleague Vinaya Deshpande. As we introduced you earlier, she's at the